the world is taking another step towards fulfilling end-time prophecies. The red heifer, crucial for the purification ritual of the Third Temple, has already been born in Israel, and now it's just a matter of time before this monument is erected and the Antichrist emerges to fulfill his role. In this video, I will show you something that no one is talking about regarding the red heifers, and I'll explain in a very simple way why they are so important. You will be surprised at how advanced the Jews already are in breeding and reproducing this animal, which must be in perfect condition according to the laws of Moses to fulfill its great purpose. In fact, some believe that these heifers could escalate the conflict between Jews and Arabs, potentially triggering a global war. But can a simple cow really be the reason for the start of World War III? I'll share my thoughts on this, so stay tuned until the end. Before we begin, I just want to ask you to subscribe to my channel. It's very easy, it's free. Just click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell because I want to help you understand the Bible in a simple and easy way. Okay? Let's get started. In chapter 19 of the book of Numbers in the Old Testament, God instructed Moses on a purification ritual for people considered impure, so they could reintegrate into the community. The procedure involved using a completely red heifer. This cow could not have borne a calf or engaged in any kind of work, such as plowing. Unlike other animals, this heifer was to be sacrificed by the priest outside the tabernacle. Afterwards, another man would come and burn the animal completely. Both the priest who performed the sacrifice and the man who burned the heifer needed to wash themselves, remaining unclean until the end of the day. Then, a third man would collect the ashes of the heifer and store them in a clean place outside the camp, also needing to wash afterwards. These ashes were mixed with water called water of purification and used to purify people who had touched corpses or been in tents where someone died. This purification allowed the person to return to live in the Hebrews' camp. If they didn't do that, the person was excluded from the community. But there is one catch. This ceremony hasn't been performed by them for thousands of years because the tabernacle no longer exists, and neither does the Temple of Jerusalem, where these rituals were performed as it was destroyed in 70 AD. As the Jews are wanting to rebuild the temple because they believe that the Messiah will come into the world to sit on it, they are already preparing so that soon these Old Testament rituals can be performed again. In 2018, the Israeli entity Temple Institute informed the world of something surprising. After much searching and millions of dollars in investments, the first completely red heifer in 2,000 years was found in the United States in 2000. From now on, they are ready to begin construction of the Third Temple in Jerusalem, which means that we are very close to fulfilling the prophecies of the end times, including the arrival of the Antichrist and the return of Jesus. On September 16, 2022, 5 perfect red heifers were transported from a farm in the state of Texas to the Israeli capital, where they are under the care of the Temple Institute, eagerly awaiting the moment of the first animal's sacrifice, because without it, it will be impossible to rebuild the long-awaited Third Temple of Jerusalem. The world has known only 2 Jewish temples. The first was built on the Temple Mount by King Solomon and lasted for 390 years until it was destroyed by the Babylonians in 586 BC. The second, built after the captivity of the Jewish people in Babylon on the same site, stood for 585 years before being destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. The Third Temple is related to a prophecy that will be fulfilled at the end of times. The Bible makes it clear that it is in this place that the Antichrist will sit to rule the world, deceiving and persecuting the Jews. But before discussing the beginning of the Antichrist's rule on earth, we need to understand why Jews are so excited about the arrival of red heifers in Israel. Since the time of Moses, Jews have always believed that God's presence was linked to their proximity to the tabernacle and later the temple. With the destruction of these 2 physical places by enemy peoples, Jews believe that God ceased to be completely on their side and therefore has not yet sent them the promised Messiah in the Scriptures. Remember that they do not believe that Jesus is the Messiah. For Jews, God will only send the Messiah to the sons of Abraham when the temple is rebuilt, and consequently, the covenant between him and them is restored. Here, I want to quickly point out to you how important this fact is to them. Jewish theologians believe that, throughout the Old Testament period, only 9 perfect red heifers were found and sacrificed for this purification ritual. Returning to our subject, the Temple Institute is only waiting for a green light to begin construction of the building, which will be identical to Solomon's temple and will be erected in the same place. The responsible architects have already submitted the plans, and the furniture and utensils to be used in the temple are all ready. Another important fact already announced is that the people who will serve in the third temple have already been selected. It is known that they are all from the lineage of Aaron, Moses' brother, and the first high priest of the temple that the Hebrews erected during their journey through the desert towards the Promised Land. These individuals are already participating in rehearsals for the temple's inauguration ceremony, where they will perform the first purification sacrifice of the place with the ashes of the first red heifer. But some things still need to be resolved. The third temple will be built in a place that is sacred to Jews, Christians, and Muslims, and is also one of the most disputed locations in the world. There are the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock, built in the 6th century, which are among the oldest structures in the Muslim world. Although Israel regained control of the Old City of Jerusalem and the Temple Mount area in the Six-Day War in 1967, the mount remains under Jordanian custodianship due to a peace treaty signed at that time. Israeli Jews can enter the Temple Mount, but they cannot perform religious ceremonies there. So, for the third temple to be built, Jews and Muslims would have to resolve their differences. In this sense, experts in historical conflicts between the two peoples are asserting that the crisis between them will become even worse from now on, including the possibility of a major war being started over that territory. Arabs are already aware of the existence of the 5 perfect red heifers in Jerusalem, and therefore they are preparing to strongly defend their territory from a possible Israeli attack to reclaim the place where the Dome of the Rock is built. Besides the issue of pride, Islamic theology believes in a being called Dajjal, a figure very similar to the Antichrist of the Bible, who will come before the day of judgment to divert people from the true path. He is described as the great deceiver and will be able to perform great miracles to deceive people. According to Islamic teachings, Dajjal will roam the earth for a period, deceiving and leading people to believe that he is divine and could arrive exactly through the third temple, which will be built by the Jews. The emergence of Dajjal is one of the main signs of the end times in Islam, and he will finally be defeated by the Islamic Messiah, the Mahdi, and by Jesus Christ, who, in their view, is only a great prophet who will come down from heaven and kill Dajjal. However, despite the theory that the red heifer could cause a major war between Jews and Arabs to the point of becoming global, I do not believe this will happen. It is more likely that the Antichrist will seize this moment to secure an agreement between these two peoples for the new temple to be built on the site that still generates so much conflict today. With his power of persuasion, the Antichrist will manage to get the 3 largest religions on the planet to sign a major peace treaty. This agreement will finally allow the third temple to be built in Jerusalem. If you enjoyed this message, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. May God bless you abundantly.